During the reign of the dinosaurs, many iconic creatures walked the earth, but perhaps none as famous as the Tyrannosaurus rex. This colossal predator dominated the late Cretaceous period, and today it is believed to have been not only the largest theropod in history, but also the greatest land carnivore that ever existed. Its size and strength were so impressive that almost no creature sharing its territory was safe. Over the years, remains of contemporary animals such as the well-armored Triceratops, the sturdy Hadrosaurus, and the titanic sauropods have been found with damage attributed to the fierce T.rex. However, despite its undeniable ability to hunt a wide variety of prey, there is one dinosaur that has never been found with T.rex bite marks. This has led many to believe that not even the fearsome T.rex dared to confront this creature. We are talking about the Ankylosaurus. Thanks to its imposing appearance and various representations in the media, Ankylosaurus has been one of the most recognized dinosaurs since its discovery in the early 20th century. It was in the famous Hell Creek Formation in Montana, USA, where a mix of bones, teeth, and osteoderms were found, surprising paleontologists due to its extensive and robust armor. This discovery quickly led its founder to name it Ankylosaurus, meaning fused lizard, in reference to its bony armor that appeared to be completely joined together. The type specimen also received the scientific name Magnaventris, meaning great belly, alluding to its broad midsection, which gave it a truly unusual appearance. In fact, Ankylosaurus was so distinct and different from previously discovered dinosaurs that paleontologists decided to create an entirely new group for it, which they named Ankylosauria. This group is composed of herbivorous dinosaurs that possess small and large fused bony shields that completely covered their backs and sides. Within this group, Ankylosaurus belongs to the Ankylosaurids, whose members are characterized by having massive triangular skulls, short necks, stiff backs, wide bodies, and osteoderms. In addition to being the first of its kind to be discovered, Ankylosaurus remains significant because it is also the largest known ankylosaur to date. Adults could measure between 5.4 meters, 17 feet, and 10 meters, 33 feet in length, with a height of 1.7 meters, 5 feet 7 inches at the hips. Additionally, they could weigh between 5 and 8 tons, making it heavier than the gigantic Triceratops with which it coexisted, and even comparable to the earlier Spinosaurus. This fact often confuses people, as at first glance, both Triceratops and Spinosaurus seem much larger than Ankylosaurus. This leads us to the question, why was Ankylosaurus so heavy despite not being particularly long or tall? The answer is quite simple. Because of its extremely robust body, Ankylosaurus was built like a living tank with short, wide, and compressed bones that provided a solid foundation for defense, which was further enhanced by its bony armor covering more than half of its body. This armor, composed of bony protrusions and plates known as osteoderms, added a significant amount of weight to Ankylosaurus. These osteoderms were embedded in its skin and covered its body from snout to tail, varying in size depending on their location. However, no specimen has been found with its armor fully intact, meaning paleontologists are not entirely sure how the plates were arranged. Even so, most agree that the larger plates were likely concentrated in vulnerable areas like the neck, providing the maximum level of protection possible. Additionally, the exact number of osteoderms is not known, with estimates ranging from 30 to over 100. What paleontologists do know is that Ankylosaurus possessed very special and unique armor plates, different from those seen in other ankylosaurs. Specifically, its osteoderms were thinner than most and had a hollow underside. While this may sound less effective compared to solid, thick armor, it actually benefited Ankylosaurus by providing a greater level of flexibility and making it more resistant to crushing bites, such as those from a T.rex. The hollow structure created a dome shape that added strength and allowed Ankylosaurus to withstand higher levels of pressure without its plates breaking. But that's not all. Ankylosaurus had another defensive reinforcement thanks to collagen fibers that were strategically distributed beneath its armor. These fibers were much thicker than those found in armored animals today, like the crocodile and armadillo, and helped Ankylosaurus with force distribution, impact absorption, ligament and muscle attachment, and even in the growth and repair of its body. Together, these fibers, along with its osteoderms, made Ankylosaurus one of the most resilient animals of Cretaceous North America. Recent studies suggest that its armor was strong enough to resist even small caliber gunfire. In addition to its impenetrable armor, Ankylosaurus had another lethal tool up its sleeve that made it a true beast: its legendary tail club. Like the bony plates that made up its defense, the club at the end of Ankylosaurus's tail was made of osteoderms, specifically 2 large osteoderms and 2 smaller ones at the tip, with a row of smaller osteoderms along the middle line of the tail. Recovered specimens show that this club could reach up to 57 centimeters, equivalent to 22 inches, wide and weigh around 23 kilograms, which is equivalent to 50 pounds, giving it considerable weight, yet keeping it light enough for Ankylosaurus to wield it with ease. This was made possible by the presence of large caudal muscles and reinforced tendons, suggesting that it could swing its tail at an impressive speed, generating catastrophic force. In fact, a recent study found that the largest Ankylosaurus could strike with over 20,000 newtons of force, more than enough to break bones. Another experiment discovered that the club could generate an impulse of up to 4,800 newtons per second. To put this into perspective, a professional baseball player only generates about 13 newtons per second with their swing, making the Ankylosaurus tail strike 370 times more powerful. This clearly demonstrates that its tail club was a formidable weapon, but for a long time no one could agree on who the victim of this weapon might have been. This debate continues today, as no theropods or predators have been found with bones damaged by tail club strikes, raising the question of whether the club really evolved as a defense against predators. To complicate matters further, a smaller type of ankylosaur known as Zool is documented to have struck others of its own species during fights for social dominance, suggesting that ankylosaur clubs might have been primarily designed for confrontations among themselves. However, most still believe that Ankylosaurus would have used its club to defend itself from a T.rex on certain occasions, as reconstructions show that it had a wide range of motion to strike objects behind it, where a T.rex might appear during an ambush. Additionally, there is other indirect evidence supporting this idea. For example, the group most closely related to Ankylosaurus, Stegosaurus, had similar weapons known to have been used against theropods, as demonstrated by a case where a Stegosaurus impaled an Allosaurus in a rather unfortunate area. Moreover, several animals alive today are known to use similar structures against predators, even though their primary use may be for something else. Deer antlers are an example of this. All of this suggests that Ankylosaurus could, and likely would, use its club against attackers if necessary, and this, along with its size and armor, made adults almost impossible prey for T.rex, not to mention other predators like dromaeosaurs and parasaurs. Unfortunately, juveniles were not as well defended and were likely easy targets for predators, as young specimens show that during adolescence, their armor and tail clubs were not fully formed. This meant that for a time, juveniles could neither break bones with their clubs nor withstand major attacks with their armor. However, to compensate for this, young Ankylosaurus likely gathered in groups to establish a higher level of defense. These groups helped reduce the likelihood of an individual being attacked, although they may not have completely deterred a fully mature T.rex. However, once they reached adulthood, everything changed. Contrary to common belief, Ankylosaurs were likely solitary as adults, as their armor and club provided more than enough security. And since they did not roam in herds, Ankylosaurus was not an ecosystem engineer as originally thought. This means that, unlike hadrosaurs and modern-day elephants, which change landscapes by grazing on vegetation, Ankylosaurus likely did not have the same impact, but that doesn't mean that Ankylosaurus was not exactly a light eater. Though it preferred vegetation, it had a fierce appetite. Its low-slung body and broad snout suggest that it primarily fed on the abundant ferns and low-growing shrubs of its time. However, these foods were not particularly calorie-rich, which would have required an adult Ankylosaurus to consume around 60 kilos or 130 pounds of food daily, a similar amount to that consumed by a large elephant. This figure might have been lower if Ankylosaurus also ate fruits or certain invertebrates caught in the vegetation. Either way, it's clear that it needed to ingest large quantities of food, which meant it also had to have an efficient system for processing all that intake. One of the tools it used for this were its strange, sharp teeth. Ankylosaurus's teeth were cusp-shaped with interesting ridges that helped it slice vegetation into small pieces. It also had a narrow beak that allowed it to easily strip leaves from plants. Once inside its body, Ankylosaurus had another unique feature to help with digestion: its digestive tract, which is believed to have operated through hindgut fermentation. This process, which uses the help of symbiotic bacteria to break down food, is seen in many large herbivores today, such as the rhinoceros. Fermentation requires large storage tanks, which generally take the form of expanded abdomens. Therefore, it is believed that Ankylosaurus's broad midsection functioned as its fermentation tank. This digestive technique could have given it an advantage over other herbivores, further aided by its incredible sense of smell. The structures of its nasal cavities and the large size of its olfactory bulb suggest it had an exceptional sense of smell, capable of detecting whether food was rotten, ripe, or hidden beneath a dense layer of vegetation. Additionally, its sense of smell was likely its primary tool for detecting nearby predators. Although it had stereoscopic vision, its eyesight was not its strongest sense. Another area where Ankylosaurus did not excel was in its speed. Due to its bulky size, it likely moved at a slow pace, comparable to a walking human, with quick bursts of speed only in emergency situations. But thanks to all its defenses, Ankylosaurus didn't need to be fast to be successful and widespread. Ankylosaurus inhabited the northwestern regions of North America, in what is now Alberta, Canada, and the northern United States. Within these territories, it preferred forested floodplains with subtropical climates, areas rich in life, such as the famous Hell Creek Formation. This environment was teeming with biodiversity, allowing Ankylosaurus to coexist with many iconic dinosaurs. In addition to T.rex, it shared its home with species like Denversaurus, Dracorex, Pachycephalosaurus, Triceratops, Edmontosaurus, and many more. Ankylosaurus didn't just live alongside these famous dinosaurs, but also with a wide variety of other life forms. Among them were reptiles like Ornithomimus and Struthiomimus, as well as primitive birds, insects, mollusks, amphibians such as frogs and salamanders, bony fish, turtles, lizards, snakes, and various types of crocodilomorphs like Borealosicus. It even coexisted with early mammals, including species like Similestes and Purgatorius. This incredible diversity was made possible by the presence of large river systems that supported an abundance of plants, from angiosperms and conifers to ferns, mosses, shrubs, and vines. Studies on the sediments of the Hell Creek Formation reveal that this environment was influenced by monsoons, tropical storms, and occasional wildfires, which kept the ecosystem in constant flux. For Ankylosaurus, this wealth of resources allowed it to thrive between 68 and 66 million years ago. However, there's a mystery surrounding this creature: its rarity. Despite being such a fascinating creature, Ankylosaurus was not the most common animal in Hell Creek. In fact, only 1% of the findings in this formation belonged to Ankylosaurus, suggesting it didn't have many descendants and reinforcing the idea that it was not a social animal. This low population density makes us wonder, what more can we discover about this imposing dinosaur that has left so few traces in the fossil record? Despite being an armored titan, Ankylosaurus couldn't escape its fate during the KT extinction event. Its slower nature likely played a role in its rapid demise, especially in an environment where its home became vulnerable to fast-spreading fires triggered by the asteroid impact. In the end, that impact was the only force capable of ending the era of this living tank. However, the extinction of Ankylosaurus and other non-avian dinosaurs didn't mark the end of great reptiles forever. After the KT extinction event, new families of reptiles emerged, which over time became absolute giants, forming the largest reptile family since the dinosaurs, the Cicadae. If this piques your interest, don't miss our recent video where we explore more about these impressive reptiles. I promise you'll be amazed. That's all for today. If you enjoyed the video, leave your like and subscribe to support me to create more content. See you soon in the next video.